guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to review for you the new Maybelline Dream Cushion Foundation and also demo it on camera. So if you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts about this new foundation and seeing how it applies, then just keep on watching. So the Dream Cushion Foundation was just released by Maybelline in December, and it comes in 8 shades and it's available at drugstores and Ulta. I was able to pick mine up at Rite Aid for $15.99, which I thought was really highly priced for a drugstore foundation. I did find that at Ulta it is also $15.99, but if you go to Walmart or Target, at least online, it says it's $12.99. So I'll leave multiple retailers down below if you guys want to check out this foundation, because you can find it more affordable or you can use coupons and stuff, but it is a little bit more pricey than some other drugstore foundations. So it is available in 8 shades, which is pretty limited for foundations. Usually even like the matte and poreless, I feel like comes in maybe like 15 different shades. So you are limited in shades, and if you are like needing to mix shades normally in foundations, you can't really do this with a cushion foundation. So limited shade range is definitely a con with this foundation, but usually when they release new foundations, they like try it out and see how the foundations end up working for people, and then they make more shades down the line. So hopefully that is the case, because it is a new foundation and usually they add more colors eventually. And the other con is definitely the price, because it is pricier than some drugstore foundations. But there are some upsides of this foundation, like right off the bat too, especially the packaging. I feel like a liquid foundation in a cushion form is definitely awesome if you're traveling or you need to do your makeup on the go for any reason. So its biggest claim is that it's a portable foundation on the go and that it's luminous and medium coverage. So basically it's not claiming anything like very innovative or spectacular, just a good everyday foundation that's good for on the go. It does come with a mirror and a little puff to apply the foundation. I just ended up using it with my beauty blender every time that I've applied it, and that's how I'm going to continue to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the demo so you guys can see how it applies on my skin and how much coverage it actually gives. Alright, so getting into the application, I have my face primed already, and I just use the Too Faced Hangover RX. Anytime I do a foundation review, that's the primer I use, because it basically just acts as a lightweight moisturizer. It doesn't like blur out my pores or anything like that, so it doesn't change how the foundation is going to end up finishing on my skin or like lasting, because it's basically just a really lightweight moisturizer. So I'm going in with a foundation in the shade 30 Warm Nude, and I am an NC25 from MAC to give you guys a reference, and this is the 4th shade out of the 8 shades that they have. And it comes with this little puff to apply it. I'm not going to use that. I know I'm never going to use it like that, and I'm sure a lot of you guys wouldn't do that either, because this just ends up very streaky. I've tried this with different cushion foundations. So I am going to apply it with my beauty blender, because that's what I use for all my foundations basically. So the puff actually just comes in here, so I do like that it is separate, and it does come with a mirror inside too. And then underneath you get the foundation. And so what I've been doing, because I have worn this over a couple days, is I just take my beauty blender and I just dip it in here, and I get a decent amount of product right off the bat. And you'll see as soon as I go to apply this on my face, like you can see that there's good coverage. It feels very, very lightweight, but you can see there's like really good coverage already. So I'm just going to do this one half so you guys can see the difference, and then I'll do the other half of my face so you can see how much coverage it gives. Alright, so this half of my face is done, and you can see how it covers compared to the other side. And I'm having like a pretty good skin day, so I don't have like a lot to cover up today. But you can see it's such a natural finish, and it just kind of smooths over your skin, and it still looks like my skin. Like it kind of looks like I'm wearing makeup, but it doesn't look like a huge difference in like the best way possible, because it's covering up any like unevenness, but it still looks like my skin. And that was just like one application or one little dip into the puff. So I'm going to do that again. I just kind of like double bounced it and then do the same thing to the other side. So that's one solid layer. I'm going to go in just a little bit to get around the center of my face, just to build it up slightly. And I am like just covering my dark circles a little bit, just so you guys can see the coverage of this foundation. And it claims to be a medium coverage, and I really feel like that's the case. Like I feel like I'm getting as much coverage as I want from like not a intense full coverage foundation. So the coverage definitely is there. I don't think it's like so minimal that it doesn't really make a difference. I do think it's a pretty good like medium coverage. My face looks like so shiny because my beauty blender was like very damp, but it does dry down right away. My beauty blender was just like extra wet. I should have like squeezed it out before, but it still ended up covering really nicely. And I like the finish that it gives. I do think that it is a pretty good match, warm nude. It is a little bit more orange. I'm pretty yellow. I'm glad it's not pink for me personally. I know a lot of people have pink undertones, but I do feel like it's a little bit more orange than yellow, which is not the greatest thing in the world, but I'll be able to make it work with like some cooler tone contouring products. I wouldn't suggest like using this product and then doing like a really warm bronzer. It might just like make you look pretty orange. So I do like the coloring. I feel like it's a pretty decent match. It's the best match I'll get from this foundation because I do only have 8 shades, which is a downside, and you can't mix when this is the packaging. You can't like mix 2 formulas together. So this is how it applies on my face. I'm going to go ahead and apply the rest of my makeup and then finish up with all my final thoughts about this foundation. Alright, so with the rest of my makeup done, I really love the finish of this foundation. I have been wearing it for several days and I find that it is very long wearing. Like the way it applies, it holds up for several hours. So even though it is more medium coverage, like light to medium coverage, it stays that way all day. It doesn't break apart throughout the day and like look all weird or anything. So it does hold up nicely throughout the day. The first day that I wore this, I ended up being like outside all day, and I was actually really impressed with the finish and not having to touch it up or anything throughout the day, and it just feeling like I just freshly applied it hours and hours later. So I really like the long wear effect of it and how it leaves my skin after I apply it. It reminds me so much of the Makeup Forever HD Liquid Foundation, which is one of my favorite liquid foundations. I think it's actually my favorite liquid foundation. It has that same like medium coverage and that same finish and same like long wearing effect. So if you guys are a fan of that foundation, I think that you would be a fan of this foundation. So I really, really like it because it is pretty lightweight and it feels lightweight. Like I don't feel like I have foundation sitting on my skin at all, and it doesn't transfer at all. But it still gives me the coverage that I need, and it still like holds up all day. So overall, I really do like this foundation. I love the finish, I love how long wearing it is, and I love that I don't feel it throughout the day. I don't feel like I'm wearing a ton of makeup and I can't feel it like on my skin. So I really do love the finish of this foundation. I am going to keep wearing it. So I do recommend it. The only downside is really the price, and also that it is limited in the shade range. And even the shade I'm in is a little bit orange. Hopefully it's not like too noticeable, but I do find that it runs a little bit more orange. I'm not sure about the other shades because the packaging comes like this in stores, so you can't see the bottles or anything. So that's really the only downside, is the shade range. Hopefully it does expand throughout the year. But other than that, I really am loving this foundation, and I do think that it is worth it, even though it is a little bit pricier for the drugstore. So if you guys have checked out this foundation, please let me know in the comments down below, or let me know what your favorite drugstore foundation is in the comments down below as well. And if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll talk to you guys soon in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.